Oh, what's up, dudes? It's Tooni, and welcome to the We Play Tanks Master Mod Ultimate Revenge video, Level 100 Miraculous Insane Finish Analysis Breakdown, an epic title for an epic clip. So we're going to dive in here and get a deep breakdown of all the stuff and things that happened during the final mission in Satan's Stronghold itself in the hardest tanks mod that there is. So without further ado, let's get into it. But if you haven't seen the clip in context, you gotta go do that first. You gotta go see it in the actual video. So I'm gonna have a link in the description and in the pinned comment. You can go check that out before we get into this deep dive here, because obviously you don't want to spoil it before you've actually seen it. So now we're gonna take a look here at the clip in all of its glory, and then we're gonna go step by step and break everything down. So let's just take a look here at the miraculous play in action. Mission 100, and we have one life. This is not going to go well, I don't think. What? How did that work? How did that work? How did that work? I have no idea. I have no idea. I am so... What? Dude. Oh my god. Dude. Oh. Dude. What? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do this first try? Okay, dude. I'm so nervous right now. Holy frick. Oh my god. Where are they? Okay, I gotta keep some bullets for defense. Okay, where are they? What? Oh my god, I just shot one bullet and he was right there. Oh, what? The miracle run! Oh! Dude, what? The actual miracle run! The miracle run, please! Oh, what was that? Wow. What was that? The amount of luck in that was insane. Indeed it was. So now we're going to go back here. I'm going to set this to 0.5 speed. We're going to mute the video. And now we're going to take a deep dive and analyze everything that happened, because so much stuff happened so quickly. Alright, so let's break this one down. So you have to imagine that I have been playing the hardest tanks mod, okay? The hardest tanks mod that I have ever played for 4 hours straight. So I'm mentally spent. I'm mentally exhausted at this point, and I'm going into this with one life, and I don't know what to expect on this final mission. I haven't been here before. This is Satan's Stronghold, mission 100. Like, this is insane, and I don't have any second chances, so I know this is so critical. So I'm looking here at the initial setup. I'm like, okay, we got a cage, which is decent. That's going to shield us a little bit. And then we have the 3 emerald tanks. Now, these 3 emerald tanks are not going to be a super big threat, just because of the fact that, well, they can't really get any clean shots on me. Maybe after these obsidian tanks move out of the way, maybe they can get a ricochet off the right-hand wall and down in here. And the same thing on the left side with the emerald tanks here. Maybe they can try to get some stuff and things going on there. But I know that they're not going to be a very big threat if I still have all of this cover here with the cobblestone. So I know that that shield is also going to protect me against these super invisibles at the start of the level, right? Because they're far away and, well, they're not really able to get a clean shot. So I know these obsidian tanks here on the left and right are going to be the big threats that are going to be coming at me. So I'm immediately turning my attention towards these obsidian tanks. Now, if you were closely observing in the clip, you would have actually seen a third obsidian tank. And I didn't know it at the time, obviously, so I didn't know that there was a third obsidian tank because of the fact that he's actually spawned right underneath 30gu8282's chin, because you can see that 30gu8282's face is blocking the tank there, the obsidian tank that is just behind him. So I don't even know he exists, and he actually plays, that obsidian tank plays a very critical role in the later half of the level, and you'll see that as we get through the analysis. He actually sets up a mine right about here, but we're going to get into that here. So once the level starts, I know that these obsidian tanks are likely going to rush me. So I'm focusing on the right hand side, and you can see immediately off the bat, like almost the first instant, this guy's shooting. All right, the level is starting. This guy is already shooting a bullet at me, and I'm trying to defend, okay? I'm trying to defend, and my first bullet that I shoot gets super lucky to manage to block that incoming bullet from the obsidian. Because remember, if that obsidian bullet manages to hit this bottom block here and ricochet up, it's coming straight at me at an extremely high speed. So that's just absolutely insane. I managed to get that one block here, and I shoot a few more bullets, and I managed to actually take down the obsidian tank really quick. And this is largely due to the fact that the obsidian tank here clipped on the lava a little bit. He wasn't able to get down like he was planning, and so because of that, he manages to get stuck. And my first, or actually my second bullet that I shoot at the very start of the level actually manages to take down this obsidian tank. Now, if this obsidian tank were to live any much longer, maybe like 1 or 2 more seconds, he's shooting another 1 or 2 bullets. And guess what? Those bullets are going to be starting to bounce around here in this cage like a bounce house if they manage to squeak in here, right? This cage, although it's very helpful that I get to be shielded from the emerald tanks and the super invisible tanks at the start, this is an absolute terror if these obsidian bullets are able to actually get into the cell. Because you imagine, I mean, each of these bullets, man, they can bounce off of all these places here. So I mean, it's just an absolute bounce house in here, and I know that these obsidian tanks are going to take advantage of that fact with their double ricochet bullets, and it's going to be super insanely dangerous. So I have to make sure that their bullets don't get in here, and that they themselves don't get in here either, because otherwise it's just going to be a huge death pit here. And so the fact that this guy manages to get stuck and I managed to get a shot there is huge. And then this other guy, I mean, look at the lines that these obsidian tanks took. This guy right off the start, he starts darting through here, and then the tank right over here, he literally just darts in as well. Like, these tanks, so aggressive, and next thing you know, this guy is literally inside the cage. He shot one bullet that, just like, if you take a look here, like a few frames, look at how close this bullet is from hitting me. Like, it's literally just scraping by me. And then you have the bullet on the top just go above me, and I'm just sandwiched in the center of this cage as all of the bullets are bouncing around, and even the obsidian tanks themselves can't they can't predict all these bullets because they're so fast and furious that one of the bullets actually manages to go back and kill himself. If you look at that as it's playing out here, this tank here, he shoots that one bullet, he shoots the other one, and it comes back and kills him, which again is super lucky because this tank here, he's about, like, if you imagine right about here, all right, he shot his other bullet like half a second ago, and remember, their fire rate is incredibly quick, so he's about to shoot another bullet right now, and he's facing right at me. If he shoots another bullet with it, which is going to happen within a few frames, few milliseconds, he's going to be able to shoot another bullet, and then I'm completely dead. And you have to remember that I was just finishing killing an obsidian tank on the right, so my pointer is here on the right hand side. So this is extremely dangerous. One of us is going to die very fast. And so I immediately swing my cursor over to the left-hand side to try to defend, but it turns out that miracle number 2 happens, because miracle number 1 is that I managed to block the obsidian tank here on the right and take him down early, and miracle number 2 is that the obsidian tank manages to miss both of its shots that are going right around me, and manages to have one of those shots come back and kill himself. And so that means that I survive the terror attack from both of the obsidian tanks. The bounce house doesn't manage to have one of the bullets bounce around and hit me, so I survive all of that, and then I don't have any time to rest. I see that there's this third obsidian tank that I didn't even know about, and what I didn't see at this point is that if you look very closely, you can actually see that there's a little yellow dot. He placed a mine here, right? And this is going to blow up a huge portion of this safety cover. But again, I didn't even know that there was a mine here. So as this level plays on, that mine actually is going to take a big effect here in the battle. So immediately after killing both of those obsidian tanks, I'm like, okay, there's an obsidian tank over here. I'm trying to block his bullets, because remember, that one bullet coming in here, if that one comes off the bottom and ricochets off the top, it's coming straight for me. And these bullets are incredibly fast. I'm probably not going to be able to move out of the way in time. So I have to just hope that I can take out this guy's bullet, which I do manage to take out, which is super, super important, very critical. And then I see, okay, the obsidian tank is going to the left. I need to take some shots over here and just defend. And then, out of all the places that this obsidian tank could have gone, out of all the places, he could have looped all around here. He could have been on the right-hand side. He could have been on the top. He could have been anywhere. He has so much space to go, but instead you can see that he beelines it right across the side of the map here and manages to go right into my bullets. So that is the third miracle right there. The fact that out of all these places the obsidian tank could have gone. He could have also charged at me like the other ones did, but he decided to go all the way across the map and go right into one of my other bullets, which was incredibly lucky, incredibly miraculous there. So he manages to go down, and you have to remember at this point, I don't know exactly where the emerald tanks are because I only had like 2 or 3 seconds to look at them at the start of the level, but I was paying more attention to the obsidian tanks that were the immediate threats, right? I have to pay attention to the immediate threats before looking at the secondary threats, right? And so I don't know exactly where the emerald tanks are. It turns out that they were both happening to be in the line of these shots here. I managed to take out the one, and the bullet over here manages to take down the other emerald tank there up at the top. And so that one spread of bullets there wasn't even much of a spread. It was more just like a line. Manages to take down the obsidian tank. Look at that. Just manages to take down the obsidian tank, manages to take down the emerald, and then take down the other emerald on the top. And so I'm thinking, like, I'm freaking out at this point, because I mean, I was just shooting a bunch of bullets off the left, and I was getting a whole bunch of kills from that. So I'm like, we might actually be able to pull something insane together. And then out of nowhere, because remember, I don't even know that there's a mine here. Out of nowhere, this mine goes off here. Boom. And immediately you can see that there's bullets flying in here from the right. You can see there's a super invisible. He shot one of the bullets there, and you can see that there's an emerald tank right over here, and he's shooting down with his speedy bullets. You can just see how fast they are. From me thinking that, hey, that there's no threats right about here, I've just taken out the last obsidian tank, and I'm taking out this emerald tank, and you know, soon to take down that top emerald tank. I'm thinking, okay, this is insane. And then all of a sudden, from thinking this is chill to thinking this, oh my god, we're getting broken in from the right hand side, the mine goes off, the bullets are streaming in, and so you can see just how fast my cursor swings over there with the reaction. I was like, oh my god. And so I managed to just barely pull it together in time and get the blocks off. You can just see how insane that reaction time is there. Everything's happening so fast, and then I'm pushed to the left hand side, because you can see, look, there's 3 bullets coming in here. I'd managed to get 2 bullets off before I make my retreat over to the left, and so I'm hoping that I can take down that one emerald tank, which I do, because now that this cover is gone, this half of the shield, those bullets can bounce around in here, and it's going to be an absolute pain to deal with. And so those 2 bullets managed to actually travel and take down that emerald tank, but all these bullets are pushing me out to the left hand side, right? So I'm moving out to the left, and guess who's waiting? Guess who's waiting on the left hand side right here for me once I escape from this death pit now? Another super invisible. He's waiting right here. He's starting to shoot his bullets, and I see that we get that kill on the emerald tank on the right hand side, which is super awesome. But now we have to deal with the super invisible. At this point, I'm just kind of freaking out. Everything's happening so fast. I managed to get some few shots, and I see that this sniper tank, or rather the super invisible tank, is moving over to the top right hand side. And so I'm guessing, okay, I've kind of scared him off. He's not going to come over here to the left hand side. Instead, I'm going to go and just move over to the right hand side where I have a little bit more space, a little bit more of an opening, and I can see that, okay, we have another super invisible tank there because he just shot a bullet. Right, he just shot a bullet coming down there from the top. So I'm like, okay, there's one super invisible here, there's another super invisible right about there. And so again, I'm just trying to fend off my own here. I'm trying to, you know, get a good hold on things here, and just kind of fend them off a little bit, and then just kind of, I mean, everything's happening so fast, so I'm just trying to regroup myself and focus in here. So I'm shooting a bunch of bullets. You can see here, I shot that one bullet onto the left, I shoot another bullet onto the left, and so I'm just making sure that they're not going to be coming back around to the left-hand side, because I can't have that. I don't want to get flanked at this point because I'm so close. And so I move up here. I'm like, okay, I've shot a bunch of bullets here on the left-hand side. They're probably not here. I saw the one super invisible tank roaming up to the right-hand side, and I know the other one is about here. And so I'm thinking, okay, they're probably, since they're not shooting back here, they're probably not in the bottom left corner, which means that I can deduce that they're probably continuing to move in the same direction they were. They're probably around here, right? And so I've shot a bunch of bullets. I've probably fended them off, so they're not like hiding right around the corner. So I feel safe enough to poke my head a little bit out, right? Because I think I know roughly where they are. But then here I am, okay? I'm out here, freaking in this whole area here. Pretty much every space has line of sight onto me. So at this point, I am really spooked because things have calmed down an eerie amount. Because I'm out here in the open and there are no shots coming at me. So at this point, I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, where the heck are they? I just know that they're not here in the bottom left because that's just where I were. And they had line of sight. When I was moving up here, they could have shot some bullets here through this gap. So I know that they're probably not here because they didn't. And they were, last I knew, that they were moving up to the top right here. And this guy was moving around here at the top in the center. So I know that they're probably around here. But I don't know exactly where they are. And the fact that neither of them are shooting any bullets right now is starting to be a little bit spooky, right? And so I'm going around here, I'm like, okay, nothing shooting at me this whole time. You can take a look here at this whole clip. So after shooting a bunch of bullets here, I'm like, okay, I shot one to the left, shot a second one to the left, I shot one to the top. I'm not seeing any action here. And again, they're not on the right-hand side because they would have been shooting at me. They're probably not here on the left-hand side because, again, they would have been able to shoot at me. I mean, they have so many opportunities. The only thing that I can think of is that they're on the left-hand side, right? The top left. And so when I move out here even further, I can see that, yo, if I'm all the way out here and they're not shooting at me, they're probably like tucked in here somewhere far left, right? Because, I mean, that's the only spot that I can think of that they're not going to have line of sight. And then I move down a little bit. After all of this, nothing shooting. Boom. There's a tank touching me right next to me. Like, what? Out of all of this, the tank was right next to me. And I'm like, what? I was expecting the tanks to be somewhere here, right? Because they weren't shooting at me. And that's the only spot that they could have been without line of sight onto me. But then I shoot one bullet to the left. And then I managed to kill a tank. Like, what? That's just insane. First of all, I have multiple questions. I was like, A, why? Why was he right there? Why wasn't he shooting? Why wasn't he doing anything? He was literally touching me, but he wasn't shooting. And if you look closely at the shot here, as soon as I managed to kill this tank, there's another super invisible tank he's about right here. He moves down here. As soon as I kill this tank here, boom, you can see another bullet is shot right there. There's a super invisible right above me, literally right above me, and he shoots another bullet again right here. So he's right here. And at this point, like, I'm freaking out because I obviously got spooked that I managed to kill a tank that was literally touching me right to the left out of nowhere. He was literally in full assassin mode up to that point. And now there's a bullet coming from the right hand side. There's a bullet coming from the top, and that super invisible, he's going to shoot another bullet. So I have to immediately rack. I get the one shot off, and you can just see me. I'm frantically defending all these bullets here, just trying to block everything as more bullets are coming in. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, what the frick just happened? And then I go in here for this final kill. But I want to break down why I think, because I was really puzzled for the longest time. Why on earth was this tank right next to me? Let's see here. Let's bring it back to the moment. Why was he literally right next to me but wasn't shooting? And I have a theory for this, because this is very strange. Because they would have had line of sight onto me at this point, right? They're both right near me, as we discovered, yet none of them were shooting. Now, tanks will not shoot at you if the friendly tank is in its way, right? They're only going to shoot if there are no friendly tanks blocking their vision or their line of sight onto your tank. And so if two tanks both are right next to each other, kind of overlapping over each other, neither tank will shoot. Not the tank on the left or the right. Doesn't matter if they're like overlapping each other, they both block each other's line of sight onto your blue tank. And so as a result, neither of them shoot. Now, that's what I'm thinking happens. But here's where that theory just kind of breaks down a little bit. Because if this one guy dies right here, and then just after that, there's another shot up here on the top, That meant that there was one tank. Let's wait for the smoke to clear a little bit. That meant that there was one tank here and one tank up here. And if you notice that the next shot here from the top super invisible, it's right there. And so that's not even that close. So they must have not even been touching each other when that happened, because you can see that's the one shot. Let's get another view of that. Let's get another view of that immediately when it happens. So I get the one shot there. So we know that the one tank is there, right? Because he just died. And then right there, you can see another shot. That's not touching. That's not touching. This tank here that was on the left of me is closer to me than that tank is to the other super invisible. So they must have not been overlapping. They must have not been overlapping, because for the two tanks to block each other's line of sight onto my tank, they have to literally be right butting up against each other and like squashed together. And they were not, because the one tank was up here and the one tank was right next to me. And I was almost like in between them. So I have no idea how both of these tanks managed to not shoot at me in this scenario, because you can imagine one tank is here, one tank is up here. Why are they not shooting at me? I'm thinking that the tanks are over here on the left hand side of the screen, but they're both literally one side of me each, and they're both not shooting at me. They were like gonna try to sandwich me with a double sneak attack. 1 or 2 more frames, these guys probably would have realized that they're not overlapping each other anymore if they were before, and they would have shot. And I would have been completely dead instantly because they're right next to me. And so the fact that I managed to shoot one bullet, boom, take out the other, and the other guy just appears right out of nowhere. And then I start like trying to spam, and I was like, oh my god, this is insane, what's going on? How was there a tank right there? I just started freaking out. How that all works and how they didn't shoot me when they could have, it blows my mind. It was simply a miracle that all that happened. I mean, at this point, my fate wasn't even... Like, before that was all happening, my fate was in their hands. They could have just shot and instantly killed me, but they didn't for some reason. I really don't know. I was thinking about it for just such a long time. It's bizarre to me. It's bizarre how they didn't shoot me there. But anyways, then I managed to get the 1v1 off here on the final super invisible tank to complete mission 100, aka Satan's Stronghold. Just the amount of luck, the amount of skill, the amount of reaction time, the amount of just surprise attacks with the secret obsidian tank sneaking around, and the mine that he placed there to blow the whole thing up. I mean, and the triple kill all on the left hand side, just insane stuff from start to finish. Just absolutely absurd, absolutely miraculous. And that is why I felt that I had to do justice to it all and break it all down with a big analysis video. So I hope you got something out of this, maybe learned a thing or two. If you did, smash the freaking thumbs up button and even punch that subscribe button if you're feeling it. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
That back to the gang, your boys. Let's go. Stop the hands flow. Let's go. Control. Stop the hands flow. Let's go. Control. Stop the hands flow. Let's go. Lose control. Stop the hands flow.